I'm sorry. Can some
Like, what's up? So yeah, that was I started it.
No, I did it.
No, I did. You want me to pull out receipts?
Let me see. Creative, you know.
Good luck with that. Shade. I still can like hear you very blurry or something.
You hear me better now.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What's good, people? This is the Daily Dick Show with Aya and Decory. How are you doing, Miss Aya? How was your weekend?
Hey D, I'm doing really good. My weekend was good and great and not so great, but overall it's amazing. It was amazing. What about you?
My weekend was good. It was great. Actually, it was great. It was really great.
Mm, okay.
But you know, now it's raining, so
Okay. Are you guys in lockdown? Because we are since last Friday, like a week or so now.
yeah, I think ours started really like last night. They told us that we can't really leave out our house. We can only go to the store and to work.
That's weird. Usually they do like 3 days in advance decision, but yeah.
Uh,
Well, and that means what? That you're all stuck at home. So you do what? You do and go, do and go. What? And that means, and that means you have time to sit your ass on the couch and watch Daily Dick show. Boom.
yeah.
So what's the topic, D?
So the topic today is self-love. Self-love.
That is one very beautiful topic. I should give it to you. It was your suggestion, and that's a really good one. Okay, so what is self love? What is love?
What is self-love? I think self-love basically is like, you know, loving yourself and taking care of yourself. It's like self-help, self-care, self-love. It's all into, I feel like that's all into one thing. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like you want to take care of yourself, take care of your body, your mental, those are the two important things in your relationships, but to love yourself, you have to love yourself first so you can make other relationships work.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's how you love yourself and how you participate in any relationship, like with the world, not precisely like romantic relationship,
Mhm.
but like in general.
Mhm.
Um, do you have one word to describe it? Like, okay, self love for you is in one word.
Self-love for me is life. That's the only way I can explain it, is life, because if you don't love yourself, how can you love the world and stuff behind around you?
You'd be surprised. But yeah, it's not pure, not like true love. It's somewhere there, but it's not fully outside, let's say. That's really good. That's really good. I would say it is more of like appreciation, you know?
Mhm.
So like appreciate like what do you have and the world, like as
Mhm.
you said, like love the world, but like more appreciation because you cannot be all like happy butterflies and like sparkling every single day because that's unhealthy for me because sometimes you do need to
Yes.
take a break, reconnect with yourself by yourself or doing favorite things of yours. And I think even those days when you like show self-love to yourself, even though you're not the best version of yourself like in your head, I think the appreciation is still there. Like this is like, okay, I accept it, like the full acceptance as well of yourself because you cannot be perfect. We have this like Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, la la la, where everyone is like posting their best highlights, and it's kind of like catching up with the mind where you're just like, oh, everyone is so perfect, like models. I'm like posing, and I have like fat belly. I don't know, my dick is too small. I don't know, whatever. And you're just like not feeling your best. But I think that inner self love is just like, it's fine not to feel great all the time, but okay, let's take a pause and think through why and reflect on that. I think this is one good pure message. Okay, we can end podcast now. We said the most important
You
thing.
already said the most interesting thing. Like, nah. I think it's just important because you have to take care of yourself, or nobody's gonna take care of you better than you can take care of yourself.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Um, let's talk maybe about more psychology version of that.
Mhm.
Like, do you know any psychological terms of levels of reaching that self love?
I really don't. I think it's just something that you can talk to people who specialize in this, but then you can find it out on your own too.
Right.
So I think it would be like just what you feel is the highest peak of your self love, your self care.
But I faced that it's not that easy. How
No,
did
no,
how did you
I'm sure it's not
came up
easy.
with the self love for yourself? Because I remember in one of podcasts you did mention that you weren't that confident in yourself back in the day when you were a teenager. Someone told you were ugly or something. Like, how did you, as grown as men now, how did you came to the point of self love? Like, how? Because it's always easy, as you said, easy go to someone and oh, you should do the self love, love yourself. It's the key. But no one fucking teaches you how to do that. Did you have self love class in school,
No.
in uni? Did therapy teach you that? I was like, we're missing on so many things in school that should be out there for kiddos. Because as an adult, I'm still in my 20s, but I'm hitting dirty 30 this year, and I came to this in 2020 during pandemic fully. I knew what self love was, but fully I was like, okay.
But I think for me, like I don't truly know the meaning of self love. Like I feel like I give out like my love to people, and I don't never like try to love myself. You know,
Why?
it's just I feel like I'm a loving person. I like to see people smile, especially the ones that I like care about and love. I would do anything to put a smile on somebody's face that I love. But sometimes I think like maybe I should start doing that for myself too. And be
Mm.
selfish with my own self love. Um,
But
Not saying that I won't give it out to.
you just said in the beginning that how can you give love to someone else if you don't love yourself? So
Yeah, I said that. I said that. I contradicted myself. Yes, I know. I
no, I'm not.
contradicted
I'm not. I'm
myself.
not throwing shade. I mean,
No, yeah, I get it. I contradicted myself, but it's not saying that I like. I feel like I can love myself more. I
mm,
love myself, but I feel like I can love myself more than what I do.
amen.
Um, because like you know what your level of self love is, and I think I haven't reached my maximum level of that. I feel like I'm at a point where, I want to project my love on the person that I love more than myself.
Yeah.
And it's
I think
hard.
the more you give, and if you don't give yourself enough, but you give a lot to people, then you just at some point you burn out.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for me because I'm like awkward. Uh,
You are.
yeah,
Man, with all due respect, I love you, but you are awkward in the
yeah.
best possible way. But you are.
Like I don't catch hints and clues like that, especially when it comes to like just like listening to myself or I feel like I'm bashing myself right now. I'm like doing self hate, like like
As you said, we you're not loving yourself enough, and I think even people with self love still hit the same rock, with their pinky toe, toenail, and fuck every single time. So it's not self hate. Self love has levels and everything, and there's no such point as reaching self love. Okay, I'm gonna hit 30. I'm gonna self love myself and let no. It's constant work, daily fucking work. And it's not that easy. Sheesh, it's hard.
I mean, it is, but it's a balance you do have to find, which I'm still looking for that balance.
And the benefits of that is marvelous. They're groundbreaking. Like you would feel yourself woke,
Hmm.
at that high level. It's just like all of your fucking seven chakras open and you just like light from my ass everywhere it goes. I was like, ah. So I think that would be a definition of like that higher level. Though it's not like you're reaching it, it's just, okay, cool. Self love just came in. It's like, hey, level up. It's like constant way not to lose it, and it's a very hard job. And I don't know, how do you, going to my question back,
Hmm.
at what point have you realized that, okay, there, I do want to have, like, I'm lacking self-love, and like, how do you, like, what pushed you to the point where you realize that you need that self-love of yours, especially as a man? It's not out there that much, you know it just start growing, like, oh, men could cry, men should do that, and not just like go to work, earn money, and be, a man, but like self-love, it goes like human wise. So how did you realize that you need more?
Um, I'm realizing it every day. It's not just a I just realized the moment.
But what was there, what was there any point? I think people could do a remix if I'm famous one day with you, and they're just like, what, and we're gonna be jamming. But yeah, I mean, what, like, did you hit rock bottom at some point? Did you just like, whoa, or was it just like a song? Self love is the best love. I don't know. Think about
No,
it.
I hit rock bottom a lot over quarantine. I was just sitting up here thinking about just my past things that I've done in my life.
Hmm.
Um, and I was talking to my really good friend Valencia, and she was like, you do all this other crazy stuff. She's like, why don't you just like sit down, settle down, calm down, be with one person, and you know, find that self love and find love in somebody else too. Um, and I did that. I'm doing that, trying to do it, but I don't think I have a grip on the situation as best as I want. And when it comes to like me, myself, I think that I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm realizing I need to love myself so I can love the other person better than I do now. You know,
Amen.
because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it's not enough, but I need to. I
Think
need.
that within yourself, or is it like pressure of the world that you're not loving yourself enough, or is it like coming within, inside, or outside?
I think it's coming from inside and outside, and just the world in general. The pressures that you have, like, oh, you're 30 and you don't have kids, or you think this type of way, and it's just things that it's kind of like it's just the pressures of the world. I look at it like, yeah, I'm 30, but I kind of grew up in a crazy situation, which it's just a lot of stuff that happened, and it takes a lot to grow from that. And I feel like I grew a lot,
Mhm.
but it's still more self-love, self-care that needs to be done on my part.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we all like that. It's not like you're just like the only one. And I appreciate you sharing it with everyone, because it's very sensitive topic, and I think it's very brave and encouraging to talk about it, like especially as a man. Because you know me, I can talk on and on and on about like everything ever. Just give me the topic. But this is like very unique and sincere, like just to be out there and like sharing. And I mean, you have very manly people who follow you on Instagram, like probably like, your muscles and everything, but you're a very like nice and kind guy, and you deserve to have that like self-love, because not because society pushes you, but because I think the reason is like the more society pushes you, the more you want to escape it. And once you figure out like there's not self-love enough in you, you just start looking for it.
Yeah, and it's like the expectations life put on you too. You know,
Right.
you just have to beat through it and find a way to love yourself better, which that's what I'm still navigating through. I don't think that just because you're a certain age, you don't learn. You learn something new every day. And
Especially our generation is so fucked up and not that bright. So, uh, maybe one day there will be like a school class, and I do believe that a lot of teachers now do that, and parents as well. But we never had that, and we went, from like playing outside straight to like internet, like,
yeah,
like some mask like covers your face. I don't know. So it just, yeah, we never had that in between. When parents like introduce you to internet, like saying it's all fake, like don't believe everything. I don't think we had that gap, and no one like taught you self love anywhere. Because parents also like so, right now, parents, I think like having a little bit like is in on that. Because back in the day, there's were less information, and my parents were trying to meet ends, and they're trying to do their best, but no one taught them self love. So how the fuck they should know? They're just like, just be a good person. And that was enough. But I think it's very important to get to that stage where you come to self love, not because society pushes you or you want to escape society, but because it is part of taking care of yourself, right? Eating healthy, doing exercises. And this is one of those mental segments that you should have, should learn. It's not that easy fucking job.
it's not. And like self-care, like I said, our self-love goes into your mental health. And a lot of people have been having, especially quarantine, it it messed up a lot of people's mental health and the way that they think.
I mean, at some point in my life, I went to like, I love myself. I'm so confident. I'm so hot. I'm so cool. I'm like doing this, so many things. I'm like living my best life, la la la. But then, I didn't even look inside of me. And then when I looked, I realized that at some point I like not gonna even like be afraid, like start to rotten inside, because I just didn't cope with my feelings. I didn't process them. I was just whatever, forget about it, and move on. And
Yeah,
that is not always a good thing to do. It is a good thing to evacuate yourself from like toxicity, but you have to process that. This is why it's not like when you break up with the dude, like, oh, find like three more. Like sometimes it works, but like it doesn't really work. You know what I'm saying? You have to process the pain. You have to understand it, like, because it goes like mental health, your brain and your body are still connected, and you have to like, do a whole cycle, right? It's like if you had a flu, right? You don't go like outside jogging the next day, right? You let yourself heal. Same with the self-love and mental health, because as you said, like self-love is the key to the mental health. Then the more self-love you have, the less people have affection on you, their words, their actions, you're just like, okay. And there's another thing I wanted to talk about, like about self-love and ego. How do we separate those things?
mhm,
Because ego, I don't want to say ego is bad, though I heard like a lot of things like, oh, that's your ego talking. And it is partly true, though ego can be also like working, I think, in your benefit if you teach it like that,
mhm.
which I'm working on right now. I had a little talk with my ego the other day, but it just how how do you like separate, like, because back in the day, like, I my ego was very very harsh on me. Just, oh, you think you're so cool, or you think you're so nice. Oh, look at you, you're fat, you're ugly, you're like not worthy. You la 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 la. Oh, so many bad things, and that was coming within, me.
Mhm.
It was my little ego voice who was like rotten one, who was like bringing up those thoughts that I couldn't escape from. And then, now I'm like coming into senses with it, like it should benefit me because it's part of me, right? I cannot get rid of it, cannot like amputate it. It's part of me. So how do you live with the ego and self-love, and how do you separate those without having that ego affecting your self-love, let's say on a daily basis?
What I think with that is like you have to like, okay, you got to, you know what, like somebody with an ego is, and you know, like a big ego, and you know what self love is. So you have to separate it. Like, okay, I don't want to be like, oh, this is my ego doing this. Separate that. You have to draw a thin line between what you think is acceptable and what is not acceptable. That's
But
how I look at
how do
it.
you like, do you have that voice? Do you have the same as I do? Like, oh, you like,
Yeah, of course,
how
of
do you
course.
cut it off? How do you cut it off?
That's a hard thing because mine is still
You've
on.
been talking, 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 talking. How do you fucking cut it off? No, I'm
I
just
don't
like,
know.
I know how I cut mine. How do you cut yours? Do you?
I don't. It gets to me all the time, and it to put me down. That's why I
'Cause
said
I
I
didn't
don't.
know. I didn't know I could cut it off at some point, and I was just like, hey, that's in my head, right? So fuck off. And I was just like taking those big scissors and like chop, chop, motherfucker. But I mean, it is hard though. But then uh, ego can like, I think the understanding, like as I said, acceptance as well. Like again, you cannot train your ego to talk only good things to you. We all have fears, we all have like insecurities, la la la, and we all work on them. Doesn't mean they're like, oh, they're there. We're working, but it's not that easy, especially like for me. Though I do believe it's like some buttons in your brain that you press mentally and just like, oh, you know. Because I
Mhm,
used to smoke
mhm.
back in the day, and one day I just didn't. I didn't want to. It was like that easy. I didn't quit. I didn't. I was like, eh. One day in the morning, I was just like, yeah, I don't want it anymore. So how do you press, like, you have to press the button and still you face it every single day. And how? How do you do it?
It's just something. I feel like it's something that it's like a war within yourself, and that goes with your mental health. It's a
But
war
you
within
said war,
yourself.
but it's not supposed to be war, right? It's supposed to
It's not supposed to. And the thing is, you have to be confident. I think you have to be confident in things, but you have to have that circle too of friends that you can come to, and they can help you. Help you along the journey with your self love. Because self love, I think you can be helped with that. You can be helped by friends.
be. But there's a point, like I have a few friends that are keep talking like, oh, don't do that, don't do that, because you've been through that mistake, la 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 la. And still, every single time they do that mistake, and that's on them. No matter how much I tell them about self love, or from my perspective, again, I'm not perfect. I'm not like a teacher or whatever in that
Mhm.
particular subject, though I'm just sharing my experiences, right? So I'm like, oh, I would do
Yeah,
that, 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 and like I feel like we're very similar in this, this, this. So I did that helped me. But then again, as a friend, I can say anything for hours. But then if person does not want to accept that, the person will not do it. This
yeah,
is why I said earlier, like in the discussion with where just like two of us without recording, that self love sometimes, like most of the times I would say, is better to get to the point. If you're just like, okay, I want to proceed. This is why I told you like quarantine helped me a lot, because I was in solitary, locked down in the apartment, having my little routine, being on my own. I couldn't go out. I couldn't like, go and like party it all away or whatever. And I stayed with my head by myself for good 4 months.
same.
And as you said, like a lot of people got fucked up during quarantine because like they couldn't face what they had. And obviously that would go crazy because like I faced it. Like I went to therapy. I cry. You should have seen my face every single time after therapy. And it was like my face was like swelling from tears. I couldn't stop crying. It just like it was like fucking volcano like coming out nonstop. But then once you talk it out, like face it and like talk through that and put the priorities, put the list. I think it just helps. It's not like it's not a recipe, it's not a solution. It helps to start. But then again, as I mentioned, it's like a fucking daily work. This is
I,
why like I let the work, I took a little vacation, let's say that.
but see,
And when I
I
got
like.
back,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. And when I got back, I was like, okay, ego, you've been misbehaving. Let's have a talk, you
Yeah.
know? So, because like it was like it went to the same pattern because it's not that strong yet. So it started to go to the same pattern like that was because all those patterns that you had like after like you reach that, oh, I can love myself. And once you reach that point, you just like, okay, cool. But then you have to keep it floating or like going up because once you don't, you're going back to that circle of your patterns, which were toxic yet convenient because that's all we knew. It was convenient. We knew how to make ourselves around that space, let's say that, So you keep going into that because it's still what your body, your mental, your brain like remembers. So you go back to it. So, it's like it's very wavy, I
Yeah,
would
but I
say.
like how you said like therapy. I think therapy used to be looked, frowned upon. People are like, oh, you go to therapy, you crazy, this
Oh
and
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that's another part of self love and self care. Again,
It's
that
okay to ask for help.
yeah, it's okay. And you know what? I think that's what I really want to look into that because I think it would change a lot of perspectives for me.
Yeah. But like
And
again, guys, like and for you, D, like sometimes like don't like if I tried going to therapy, like traditional psychology therapy, like 4 times since the first time I realized I had depression, even though I didn't have depression in quarantine. It was my fucking best quarantine or lockdown ever. And yet I tried to like do traditional psychology, but if it doesn't work for you, or like for any guys who are listening to it, it's fine. There are other ways to do that. If you want to know more like about the different ways, just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm gonna put it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it there. And because like traditional psychology didn't work for me, no matter how much I respect it,
mhm.
it is you have to find your thing. But there are people who are ready to help you, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and because like self care, like I said, the self love thing. I think when we got out of quarantine a little bit, like I just had like a breakdown. I started just thinking about all this shit that I was doing in the past, and about like how like my best friend he had died and I didn't get to go to his funeral because I was in Japan,
Sorry.
and I was just like drinking a lot. You know, quarantine made me not want to drink a lot. Like I got out of quarantine, I drank, but then I was like, yo, it's not really my thing. Because the whole time during quarantine, I did like a shot here for those little shot challenges, but other than that, I didn't drink. And I just had a breakdown, and it was crazy. Like I just was crying. I called my mom. I called people that I did wrong. It was just crazy, and I was just like, I'm sorry, I did this, and that. I just broke down.
That's also like good. Like what do they call in AA? Like making amends. Because
Yeah,
like it was the first step when you realize, okay, stop it. Like I don't know, whatever douchebag, whatever you call yourself. Just like oh, like I did wrong to people. Let me apologize to them. I think that's also like a way of healing. Or like if someone did you wrong, and they didn't apologize, to let that shit go. That is also so important. Oof. Otherwise, it's like those little bits that I mentioned, like, oh, you're gonna face yourself rotten inside. It's not just because you weren't kind to yourself. It's about like the whole world affecting you, and like those bits of the soul are missing, and that what makes you like rot inside. Not just because you did something to yourself. It's not. fully your responsibility, because you didn't know any better, or you knew but you made a choice not to like do any better for yourself. So all those bits, like all those like bad behaviors, like back and forth, are always affecting you. You know, the this is why I think the phrase for the past 2 years is like mind your business. I was like, I'm drinking my water, minding my own business, and that's the key.
Yes, like self care. That's why I need to take more care of myself because like that was the first of many breakdowns that I had, and I had like two of them recently, where I just woke up like angry at the world, like in tears, you know,
Mm.
um, in tears, just like I don't know why I was mad. Don't know why I was mad. I think it just had to do with a lot
Did
of
you
stuff that
try, when you had those mornings, did you try to stop and like, go with that, like ask yourself like, why the fuck?
yeah, I tried to go outside, relax, take a drive. I called people and I still felt that way. And it was just more like, I just wanted because I wanted to like I wanted somebody to be there for me, like with me,
Yeah,
like telling me everything would be okay. Um
everything's gonna be okay, D.
like my mom or something, mom, girlfriend, that's what I wanted, but I didn't
That's
get
very
it.
good. Like, I had that, like one of my questions for that, like, why do you think like this, like self-love comes from validation, I would say, but like there are different validations, right? So like self-love comes from self-validation, that like you validate yourself and you don't need others to do that
Yeah.
for you, because that's what we're looking constantly daily, like to someone to validate us, right? So like your mom telling you you're good, or like some close friend, la la la. But then I faced that myself, when, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, less known person tells me like, oh, you're beautiful, or oh, you can do that, oh, you have a podcast, you're so good. Yet when my close friends, my family, telling me that every single day, or when I talk to them, constantly, I tend to not to believe them. And I do tend to believe more to like some random strangers, let's say that, rather than to my family who knows me, who loves me, like no
But
matter
yeah,
what,
you got to think about
then
that. That's just when you growing up. They want you to do best, so they're gonna always tell you the best. I mean, I won't say they always tell, because
yeah,
sometimes like
but why don't we believe that those people have the best interests, in us? Why
yeah,
don't we believe that? Why do we still like that? Like, let's say you got validation, from outside, yet it's still not enough. Like, why it's not enough if that person, like my mom, my dad, whatever, they have the best interest, right? Yeah, of course they want to succeed, but that's the case. You're looking for someone who would be there for you, who would tell you like, hey, you can do this, inspire you, though we don't even see like what's right in front of us.
yeah, and that's
Why do
because
you think that's happened?
I think it's because we like, yeah, I heard this from you guys all my life. Now I want to hear from somebody else. You
Like
hear
some stranger, right?
yeah, you hear from your parents, you hear from your family members, but you like, dang, if somebody else tell me that, it'll add more weight to what they're saying. I think that's what it is.
Well, that makes sense. I understand where it's coming from. Yeah, I think. Hmm. But still, but those like because they know you less or something, but they already see it.
They see the potential. They see you for what you're presenting them.
But there's the thing, don't you think what they see is what you present them, which is already in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I said, you heard this from your parents from all your life. Hearing it from other people sounds better. Like, dang, if my parents notice it, and now these other people notice it, so they must be right. That's how I look at it. If somebody tell me something and my mom said
Mm-hmm.
it to me, and they say it to me, I'm like, damn, my mom was right. So she validated, but my mom is going to always be validated.
But
But
like,
it's just
didn't
extra.
your
It's
mama whoop
extra.
your ass when she was
Yeah,
right? And she was always right. You should have
yeah,
learned
yeah.
better. She is always right.
Yeah,
So,
extra validation on top of the
my mom
validation.
is always right. My mom is right about everything but the weather. she's like, "Oh, it's so freezing outside," and I'm like, "Damn, it's freezing," because I, tend to listen to her when got older, and I put all those like jackets, and I'm like going outside, I'm like sweating. The part was like, because we have like different body temperatures or whatever, and I was like, "Bitch, lied to me, the fuck," But rather than
Yeah,
that, my mom is always right.
yeah, yeah. So
Mm. Okay,
that's
so
how.
what is your version of self love?
Mm. Like I said, I'm still trying to find out, but I think in my ideal version of self love is like just traveling and taking care of myself, like working out while I'm traveling, enjoying my vacations. Because I could say I went on many vacations that it's like it was like a job to me. Like I enjoyed them, but I didn't enjoy them the way I was supposed to enjoy them. You know?
But then why we wait for vacation?
Yeah, you're right. You can do it every day. But I think that's just me. Like I like to travel. I like to see different things. I like to relax somewhere
Me
else. You know?
too. Me too. But then, like you cannot travel, especially not right now.
Yeah, right now. So
So like,
uh, another thing that you can do is I'm like my really good friend Valencia. It's like my sister. It's like best friend, sister, best friend. You know, she's family. Shout out to Valencia. Come on the podcast. But um, she's like, yo, you should meditate, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do that.
yo, man, like that's for real. I swear. I was like, first of all, I used to hate yoga. Till this day, I hate it. But damn, it works. Fuck. I was
Yeah,
like, that.
yoga
I think
works.
that's age. That's age.
Yeah.
Because
Nah,
like
I
I
tried
still
yoga before.
and
I like it. It was dope. I was like, shit, I'm over here doing
okay.
the
No, I'm
warrior
so
pose.
I'm so confused. Like with those like I was like, because I'm still like
Yeah, yeah,
looking at,
yeah.
I was like, and I forget to breathe, and I was like, oh fuck, I was like, that's not yoga, yoga's supposed to be like zen motherfuckers and everything.
Yeah, you're
But that is interesting because since like childhood, I was like dancing, so I was doing like splits, front like blah blah, blah like legs up, blah blah blah. Until this day, I still train, and that is my meditation, But then yoga is like way more complex than just stretching, or it's like stretching for splits. And I was like, shit. But then again, the only thing I, in my
flex.
opinion, is wrong is when yoga people like tend to promote this like lotus pose for meditating. I hate that shit. You know how I meditate? In my bed. I just lay very comfortable, close my eyes, and I meditate. Because this like sitting shit is bullshit for me. Like I cannot say, I'm like, oh, my back hurts, like my
Yeah,
you have to hold your hands, and I was like, no, fuck that. Like
yeah.
I used
I
to
can't do
meditate.
that style crossing my legs. That shit hurt.
Huh?
I said I can't do the crossing my legs shit that long. That shit hurts.
No, like I can do it, but then I'm just like, I'm always like, is it like over or something? You just like, you take your most comfortable position and you meditate. And that's the thing. When I was in India, we were living with this lady. She was like friend of like the biggest meditating dude or whatever, and she was like family with him. And there's like a whole meditation religion. I would say religion towards that. I think it called. I don't remember what's the name. Anyways, you have to stay quiet for like 40 days, no talking, nothing, just like in your thoughts. And I was like, but like, how do you meditate? Like my thoughts are nonstop, like I cannot stop them. And she's like, that's the point. You will still have those like, imagine like it's a highway and you're in the middle of a highway and those thoughts are like cars and they're moving like pass by, but you're like in the center of road and they cannot like hurt you or whatever. And I was like, damn, that's simple and deep. I was like, makes sense. So you just like, you can concentrate on your breathing. There are like so many, especially after like the first after the first lockdown, there's so many good meditation apps that guide you. So if you don't know how to do it, just guide you. And this is how you process with that.
No, I read something. Or actually, I heard something today. It was a quote, and it kind of made me think. Um, it was something about it was along the lines like nothing is alien to me that's human because if a human did it doesn't mean it Because a human did it, that means I can do it.
Exactly. That's really good thing, yes. Because again, there's like so much to our brains that we can, turn like it not even 180, 360. We can turn it 360 degrees and, turn our lives upside down and like move to the version of the life you do want. Because if you do want like some other life rather the one that you have right now, you have to fucking move. And that means you have to move out of comfort zone. And self-love will help you that. Be careful like to measure that like ego and self-love because ego can trip. But I think like the self-love, it will just like put you on a pattern that you want to move and it will help you to get out the comfort zone that we know,
Mhm.
and like once you get out of comfort zone, you have the power.
Yeah,
You can't hold you back. And you
yeah,
can do marvelous things.
that's true.
In my opinion, like personally, if you don't like where you're at right now, do something about it.
Yeah, that's true story. If you don't like it, do something about it. Like,
Put thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit notification buttons, because I is right.
I
Yeah.
is right. I is right. That's true. Um,
I look
I
like
do.
a fucking princess, but like according to my, all the like speeches that I'm making right now, I'm a fucking, like fairy tale godmama.
All
Nice to
right.
meet you.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Um, how do you cope with bad days?
Oh man, that's a good question. I have a lot of bad days, but it's not the entire like bad day, bad day. It just sometimes you cannot actually, no matter how positive I'm trying to stay, people annoy me. People annoy the fuck out of me, and usually, what helps me out? I want to, if I'm having like a very bad day, whatever wise, I just want to go back to my house. I want to take a good shower, very hot shower. So, like in my head, I'm washing that day off, or like
Hmm.
whatever negativity I have, I'm just washing that off. And I'm just going and, I don't know, watch my favorite series or read a book and, just fall asleep and sleep it off. Like, not to act on the actions, not to act on my emotions, of bad day. I'd rather like just stay quiet, do my favorite things. Like if it's like in the end of like working day, right? Like in quarantine or whatever, that's literally what I can do. I cannot go out, like treat myself, go out for dinner with friends. That's what I do. I just, it's nice to have someone else to hug because I'm a very physical person. So if I have my man around, I'll just like go and hug him, just like I'm having a bad day, whether you want to talk about it or not. There's still a person like just there. And if that's not the case, I'll just go take a shower and sleep it off, like in between like doing something, make myself a really good meal, cook. If I'm very frustrated with things, I clean, which very, very much Monica wise of me, but and it also comes with the age. But because like in my perspective, if I have like, if everything is tidy around me, it's tidy in my head because it's kind of like meditation for me, I would say. It's those simple things. You don't need to have millions. You don't need to be Kylie Jenner to like fly in your private jet to the islands to
Make you feel
make
better.
you feel better. Yeah, there's a little things, and whatever works for you. Like you watch your favorite movies or favorite series, or read a book, and just try to calm yourself down and make those bad thoughts disappear. And like that's what I'm saying, like sleep on it, and then once you wake up you have a little bit different perspective, I would say,
Yeah.
on things.
I try to
Especially,
do that,
hmm,
but I'm
does it
like,
work?
no. I think about the bad thing all day until I can fix it. Like
Mm.
I'll sit in my bed. I won't even like one time.
No, like don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna be stressed, but like there's something about like calming it down and then coming back to the question, if it's like a problem you have to make a decision about. If we talk about bad day, I woke up, oh, I'm feeling fat. That's another story.
Yeah.
There
Just
there are also like different bits, but if we're talking in terms of like self-love, yeah, I would say I'm just like I'll just do all my favorite things
true.
that brings me joy, like take a bath, read a book, I don't know, buy yourself flowers for fuck's sake.
Mine's just play Xbox.
See, takes off your mind because you all in there, in the book, in the game. It doesn't mean like, oh, if you don't read a book, oh, you bad. No, like some people just don't like it, and it's fine. Just find whatever makes you happy in peace.
Yeah.
Because going out to party, it's not peace, to be honest. It's a distraction. It's good. Like I like dance. There's like anger, for instance. I like to dance it out back in the day, and
Mhm.
it's good. But then still, you have to come home and you still have to cope with that in a different way.
I
Physical
think
aggression comes out with the dancing, but then mental doesn't go anywhere. You have still to deal with that
what I can say about me, like some
process.
of my bad days, I was just getting tattoos, and that's why I started getting all this. Like, I mean,
And I would be like zombie boy if I would do that.
I felt pain. It just took my mind off of things. You
Oh
know,
man, you creep.
still get it. That
That's
was the reason.
no, but like you see that's the I don't think pain is a good way because in other terms people cut themselves.
No, 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 no.
That's
Yeah,
not
not
right.
not that,
No, I'm not.
not that type of pain.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm telling you, like you said, oh, I feel pain. Some people don't have money to go and make themselves tattoos. They cut themselves, and
Yeah,
that's not how you deal with it.
no, it's not. We don't
You have
promote some.
to sit. You have to proceed it. Like you cannot just escape it. There are things like yeah, of course, like obviously, like shower doesn't wash off my day. That's stupid. But in my head, when while I'm in the shower, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be all fine. It's gonna be all good. You're doing good. You're doing great. Whatever it is, we'll find a way. Just relax for now. We'll find the solution later. Because that's the thing about self love, right? And ego. Because ego reacts like right away. What do you feel when your ego reacts? I'm just curious. I'm asking like literally for the past like 3 days. I'm asking everyone that I know, how do you react to your ego? Like what do you feel? Because mine is like my heart stop and my blood like rushing out of my body outside. Like I feel cold. Like it's everything like frozen inside for a moment or two. What do you feel when your ego strikes? You're just like,
You know what? I don't even, to be honest, I don't even have an ego no more. They just went away. I,
that is bullshit.
I'm
Bullshit, my
serious.
friend.
I'm serious. Like
No.
my pride and my ego is just gone.
Mm.
It,
Again, pride and ego are two different things.
yeah,
Okay,
I
what
know.
you used to feel when your ego was hurt? How was it hurting? Like what are the physical explanation? Like what do you physically felt when your ego is hurt, bruised, hurting, whatever?
It was like bruised or hurting. I feel like, damn, really? And then I would go out and like do
No,
make
what
bad.
what, what did you feel here?
Like I was crushed.
Like
I'm like, really?
how like explain like crushed here, but like how do you like crush like broken or like someone ripping out the pieces of
Someone
you
like ripping something out of my chest. Like, damn, you
like
know, just like my heart's still beating and they just crushed it. You know, like that's how I felt. That's
okay,
how I felt. Like,
that's brutal. Ugh.
yeah, yeah. And then I try to do
I would
something.
I would put 1 out of 5 stars. Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, wouldn't recommend. Don't do it. I cope with shit differently, and I'm trying to do better at that.
Well, that's the thing. There's no right or wrong thing of coping. Coping is something that you glue yourself, hold up, and looking for a better solution. That's for me coping. You know, because like it's coping mechanism is something like instant. Like adrenaline. You just like you react fast. Like just like go, go, and then you decide what to do afterwards. Because like it's like should I fight or should I go home? So it's like you cope and then you make a decision. The point is like what kind of decision you're gonna make. That is important.
Yeah, I think like I got rid of my ego though for a good reason because I feel like it was bad. It was bad. I'm
That's what
building
I'm
a
saying.
new one.
Ego is always
Yeah,
bad.
I'm
Ego
building
is
a new
always bad.
one.
Like But you, like, as you said, I don't think you got rid of it. I think you just like make it really, really, really small. And it, you know what I'm saying?
That's probably what it is. Someone bring you self love by starting a relationship with you.
I think there are like two ways to answer that question. And
Mhm.
one used to be like very popularized, and the other one like very vivid, and the other one is not that vivid and not that outspoken. I used to be one of the girls who would believe the first version, and now I tend to have the second version. So
What's the
two
first and
versions of the uh, of the answer to the question: can someone bring you love by starting a relationship? Right. So I think the most common and popular opinion that is that yes, someone could help you find that self love. Though I do believe it goes like it's a very thin line because yes, someone can help you to bring your self love on top, like your best game ever. But for that, you already have to be on the journey and to be willing to open yourself up to that person to bring you up to the next level. Also, it depends on the person. Can that person bring you to the next level? You know what I'm saying? And then the other one where you reach that self love in solitary, as I said, it worked for me. And sometimes it just, you're not ready for that. Like at some point, no one can fulfill the whole inside of you rather than yourself. So no matter how many relationship you start and you try to find, some of those like bits of self love in something else, in someone else, you will never be successful because it starts within you. You cannot like have someone fulfill that hole. You have to fulfill that with love by yourself. And then if you're lucky enough to have that person who would push you like to those boundaries to like upgrade your self-love. So
Mhm.
I think a person can bring that to relationship to you in a relationship, right? But then you have to be on the game, on the same game together, of like wanted to improve that. Otherwise, you would see that as, as something bad that your partner doesn't like about you. The same way, like I was pointing out, like, hey, girl, you have to deal with your ego because, like, that's annoying. And I was like, I didn't take it like in a bad way. I was like, I know it's annoying because it annoys me, myself, and I as well. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me take a step back, reflect on the situation, on my thinking, la la la, and proceed from there. Not like I do like to jump in my feelings, I'm little Drake. Draca. Kiki, do you love me? Would you write me? And I can playing music. Suggested are you playing music? Thank you. I'm that good.
That's Drake.
I Drake, if you're looking for a female Draca, I'm right here. But you know, I do like to get in my feelings because it's something I used to do, and I'm still like trying to get out of that like toxic circle as I mentioned before. But sometimes like it's hard to control. Sometimes it's a cute way for me. I'm just like playing around, like mocking someone. It's fine. But then yes, you have to understand that whether that partner wants to bring you up or bring you down, because there's like two ways of partners doing that, and you have to realize if you have that connection with person with your person, you have to realize that that is not something bad, and it was coming from place of love as well, like, oh, you have to deal with your ego. But then again, the person cannot deal with my ego. That's on me. I have to deal with it because it's my ego, and vice versa.
Yeah,
Does it make sense?
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Mhm.
It makes a lot of sense.
But like the other question I want to ask you though, how do you love yourself in a relationship? Like
Mm,
besides like partner loving you, how do you love yourself in a relationship? Because it's a very tricky part, relationship.
this is something, like I said, I'm still learning. Um,
We're all learning, it's fine. But like, what is your ideal picture, I would say,
of me loving myself, or
in a
just loving.
relationship? Yes. How would you like proceed with self-love in a relationship?
I think me, well, perceiving it is like me being at the highest point from my partner. Like I'm loving myself so much, I can give you some of this. I can radiate this love to you. It
Yes,
just
but what
beams
if
off
you are like in your lowest? How do you reach that high point? You know,
with that. I
like
think,
beside your partner, like you have to like. That's the thing about relationship. You cannot be like this.
yeah,
You cannot. That's broken system though. You have to have yourself. You have to have another person, and then you come into relationship together. So like, let's say
yeah,
there's imaginary circle, right? And you come together. It's not like this anymore. Otherwise, someone will lose. And like as we said like before, like compromising.
yeah,
Compromising is not a hit anymore. Someone has to give up
yeah.
something in compromising.
So I would think, like, just like, working on myself, working out, studying, doing stuff that makes me happy, that boosts my level of
Give an
confidence
example.
and love up. I would like going to the gym or picking up a new study in school,
Hmm.
something that's going to better me for the
Like
long run,
evolve yourself, basically,
evolve my mental
physically and
state,
mentally.
evolve physically and mentally. So that I think that's how you
That is
can,
good.
love your relationship, because by taking care of yourself, like taking care of your body and your mental, like I said in the beginning,
It's also like
doing that,
plain
and
and
then you have to
simple.
have an understanding. Yeah, you also have to have a partner that's understanding that, you have
Yes.
to love yourself first before you can love me.
Yes, I think it's also very like good a point in relationship overall because I faced it like at some point with my mom, with like sometimes I face it from my partner where you have to have time alone, you know? Like even if you're
Yeah,
like together,
I
especially
don't
like if
like it.
you're
I
like
don't like
stuck with
it.
your better half in quarantine, it's like time alone.
Yeah.
It's like it's and again, if you're in quarantine, like go to another room. You don't have a room, take your other space from the person. Go to bath, go for a walk, I don't know, for a jog. Do something by yourself. Like even like if you're in the same bed and there's like no way around, person can do their stuff. You just do your book, like read your book, like listen to the music, something that will make that like bubble of you doing you because again in a relationship there are two people and each personality still has to grow outside of a relationship as a human being.
Yeah, and that's something you need, because that makes the most sense to help your relationship grow, because you have to have to love yourself before you can love somebody else.
Exactly, and it goes like within like physical and emotional state.
Yeah, because you're gonna always learn yourself, to love how to love yourself, and then you have to tell people, this is how I want to be loved. This is how I love myself. But I know you probably can't love me the way I love myself. But this is what I want you to love me like, to be able.
um yes, yes, for sure. I mean you can both grow to that level and that vice versa. It's not like how you can love me but it also like how I can love you
Yeah,
you know
it's a
and there's
growth. It's a
also
growth
like
thing. You wanna go.
yes, and I also read this like very good bit on like you don't have to be 100% healed or like good with your head or good like 100% of your self-love game to enter a new relationship. It is fine to be still healing from something. It is fine, though I think you have to have this like cross line where you explain to the person, okay, that was a part of me, I'm still healing. Be open about it and have a communication about it. I'm still going, I'm not on my 100% game. I'm always like saying, okay, I do like percentage wise, I'm like, okay, I was like 70 to 30 a month ago. Now I'm like 75-25. I'm still growing. And it could be like vice versa. It's not supposed to be just up, up, up. It's all around like with
Yeah,
like the whole world that you have around you every single day. So go back and forth. But like you don't have to be on your 100% game to receive the love and give the love. I think that's very important because you know how those like like I'm gonna start loving myself when I weigh like 60 or like 49 kilos, and they don't understand that journey is already a love, like to lose the weight, to start, I don't know, writing, to start doing whatever you want. It is already enough. Of course, there's like, higher points every single time. It's like, okay, I want to write a book, and you start writing, but you don't, you think about the finish line and you hit the finish line. What do you do next? You think about another book, so it's always growing, it's constantly changing, la la la. But you have to understand that it's fine not to be 100% cool to enter a relationship, though it is important
Yeah,
not
because
to enter it
that's
like
what
on
growth
your
is.
like lowest, like zero.
And that's what growth is. You want to, like, if you enter one at a low point, or not, not at your best point, you grow to get that better point. And especially you can grow with that person, which I always preach growth. I think growth is the beautiful thing when you can, set aside a lot of like problems and stuff and just grow from it.
Yeah,
It's good. I know everything's not gonna be, flowers and
of
candies, but
course. Yes.
growth, growth. I think that if you really want to make something work, you would grow from it.
Yes, and then you
You know,
communicate, and then the growing goes even better, you know?
yeah.
So
And then
like,
you grow into that love and self-love.
yes, and like you say, hey, you know what? I'm like feeling this, and I cannot cope with it. Like I need help. Like, can you? I don't know. Even the smallest pep talk will help. And again, like if it's not coming from your like
Mhm.
mother, father, sister, whatever, like best friend, it coming from that person, because we used to value our like romantic relationship the most.
Mhm.
So like just communicate, like, and that's fine, and it even brings you more confidence into you that you are actually willing to talk about it. I think so. Just like, okay, like, because if my partner would come to me and like share that, I was like, oh my god, I am so blessed that person decided to do that with me. I was like,
Yeah, and
ah,
tell you
you
everything,
know
yeah.
it would be so, um I would be so proud that that means that we're doing good. That person is that comfortable to come to me and talk about it, and like
Yeah,
ask my
that's
opinion,
true.
ask my help. I think that's
Yeah,
really
yeah, that's good. I just thought about something. That kind of just rolled into the third question. We kind of stomped it out. Is it important to let your partner find himself by teaching himself love? We kind of, we kind of went into that already.
no. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Is it important to let your partner find themselves by teaching them self love?
See,
We
it
we
was
went
just,
into that.
it
Yeah,
was
like
very, it was, effortless, I would say.
that. Yeah, that natural conversation. So,
Yeah.
and like, just to touch on that lightly, we talked about it, but yeah, you could teach somebody self-love. You can boost that person's up, like, yo, hey,
Again,
babe,
if that
hey,
person wants
if they
that.
want it, yeah, because you said it, if they want it, yeah, if they want it.
If they don't want, like, no matter what you're gonna say, no matter how you're gonna bring them up, they will still find a way to bring themselves down. And that is one way not healthy toxic relationship.
Mm.
Because you see the potential in person, but if the person is not even opening eyes and trying to see them on themselves, you cannot do it. You cannot live someone else's life for them.
Mhm.
They have to realize that you're there for them to help them. Good for you, like 100% amazing, but it's not your job. You cannot make the person want that, because
Yeah.
otherwise, if you're gonna make the person, let's say, I don't know, you inspiring person, let's take to like write a book, and they write a book and it's a failure, you're gonna be the one who pushed them, so meaning you are who they could put fault on. And that's
No, that's not right. Even if it's a failure, you got that person on your side pushing you, like, hey, you did it. You wrote this book. It's cool. You can write another one. Maybe it'd be better.
exactly. So it is like, and that goes to another question of ours about relationship sex wise. Like, is it like self love important in sex with partners, right? So if you're telling someone, hey babe, I don't like that, and they take it offensive, that's on them. You try to communicate. If you weren't like, hey motherfucker, what you doing out there, that is rude. If you sit and like, hey, babe, I don't like it. I don't know. I don't know. Your vagina stinks. I don't know. Or just like, or you're not hitting my G spot. It is fine to sit there and talk, but not throwing
Throwing shade at each other and pushing.
balls into into forehead. Just like, hey, honey, we remember we're doing that. So I don't feel that awesome. It feels nice, but it's not like fireworks from my ass. So how about we try that? Because orgasm for me is very important. So it's for you. You come every single time. I'm not. So let's talk about that. And it's
Yeah,
okay. As long as you sit there as two human beings, two adult human beings, and trying to evolve together, improve each other. And that doesn't mean that you being like, I don't know, whatever, a piece of shit and bad. It doesn't mean that. It means the person, wants to. It's like, I want my man to eat the pussy the way I want it. I'm willing to teach, but if person not willing to learn, what you gonna do?
so like the self-love part of it is like, when they tell you that, okay, I love myself and I want to improve myself. If you want to improve, like you said, if you want, it goes to the same, like the same question. It's like, if you want to improve that, you're gonna do it.
I think that question goes not that high yet.
Not that
It
high.
goes a little
No,
bit
I'm
down
scratching my
where
head.
a person, I know a lot of women who doesn't feel comfortable with their body.
Mhm.
So, sexy time is not really very exciting if there are
Yeah.
like bits of lights outside
Mhm.
or, like in the room, like outside of the bed, like bed sheets. So
It's the
they're
same.
like,
It's the same for men too. They might not feel like, oh, I don't have this six pack, or I'm not this, I'm not that. So,
yes, of course.
you do have to have that self love and confidence in yourself first before you can go out and try to do these things.
Not even like I would say not self confidence, I would say self cautious. You have to understand, yeah, I don't have six packs, but I bring to the table
This,
in
this,
of love in bed this,
yeah,
this, and this.
yeah,
And I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to improve. This is
yeah.
what I've got. And hey, how do you like, it's so sexy when men like, how do you like it? Show me. And then a lot of women, I don't masturbate, or they're like, or masturbation is dirty for females. It's like double standards right there. And I find it very sexy when a man can make me come in the same amount of time and as hard as I would come with myself. You know,
That's self love, right?
that is a self-love importance in relationship. But it's not really. Yeah, I'm talking like, it's important for me to be aware that the person with me is on that self-love and because self-love brings you self-confidence,
Mhm.
on the level where they don't need to try extra. They just can ask because they're that confident that, okay, I don't know how you like it,
But
especially
I'm
like
gonna
in the beginning of a relationship, or body change. I don't know, is that as long as like I like to fall asleep this week in this position, fall asleep simply like that. The other week in that position. Because we all constantly changing, it's like it's different. So if person like I want to give you, I don't want to like, figure out my own, which I can, and it's nice, but then, hey, show me. It's also like a sex game there. It's like it's unwilling, like sorry, it's opening your partner to communicate in bed.
but
And
then
that openness brings you self-confidence, which is coming from self-love. So
yeah.
obviously, like, self-love is very important because, like, you can be any size, any shape, have any size of dick, packs, no packs, belly, doesn't matter. If you have that self-love and you know that you can give love, what is it? Give. I'm sorry, and
Give.
and okay, and you know that you can give love. That is what important, you know. So I think otherwise it would be like, oh, don't touch my belly while we fuck. Oh, don't touch my arm, it's too fat. Don't look at my ass, you know? And there's no sexual tension anymore.
It's just that self love. Self love is, you know, I
Is
feel
the
like
key, man.
it encompass. It's the key to life, for real. It's the key to life for everything, you know. And I I just want people out here to know, love yourself,
Yes.
you know,
Yes,
because
please.
nobody's gonna love you the way you love yourself unless you teach them.
Yes, and that is very important. And that's a discovery. You cannot like hit any like levels. Well, no, you cannot hit the top. You cannot stop at some point to find self-love. It's within you. It's every day, and it's beautiful, and it's okay not to have it every day, or not to have it in the morning and then gain it in the evening, or vice versa. It's okay, just as long as you keep pushing yourself to the better things,
Mhm.
because ego can tell you cannot do it, but if you would tell yourself, you know what, I can, simply, calmly, with a confidence. Even like most of the time, like me and Dee on the podcast, we have no fucking idea what to do, yet we're doing it because that's something that sparks us out. This is the self-love, self-confidence of like wanted to share information or like experiences in particular, and
Mhm.
that was bringing us up, and we're still doing it same way. Like in the morning you wake up, you do the best version of you, and I think every single time you would think about it, you would succeed, and that's fucking fabulous.
Yeah, and like I said, self love is the best type of love. You know,
It
you
is.
need that. You need that, and
And then
I'm
you
glad we
can.
spoke about this today.
Hmm?
I said, no, I'm glad we spoke about this today because
Yeah.
it's
And then I wanted to add just a little quick thing that it goes not only like with your partnership in relation like love wise, right? It goes with your parents, with your friends, with like with not parents, like with your family.
co-workers every day.
Once you value yourself, you cut the bullshit out. Cut the bullshit out. And that's it. Because you value yourself, because you value your time. You value all those like mental, physical, spiritual health. You cut the bullshit and that's it. Because it's important for you to feel good, to feel safe,
Mhm,
calm,
mhm,
and in control of your life. So like cut all the toxicity. That is the key to start it. Because as long people will write on top of your back,
mhm.
you will never push them down and like, oh, now I need to start self-love. Because as long as you have them on your back, they will not let you to go into that self-love journey, which is very important and very beautiful.
True. Yeah, I think this episode, like, you know, I almost shed a tear talking about my experiences.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
I used to. You pull my finger, I'll cry. I swear, I swear. People who know me. I like literally. I can start crying right now, but it is a very important topic, and we didn't have the opportunity to learn about it. We had like from someone. We had to learn on our own and like figure out like when self love became trendy again.
and
Trendy.
like I said, it's an ongoing thing. Like you're gonna keep on learning more about yourself and learning how to love yourself.
And that is beautiful, and that is because we are not celebrities yet. We're just two like actual people who doing stuff and trying to manage their best, and I think that's very important to. I think that's easy to relate to us. It's like because people who listen to us probably know us, heard of us, follow us, or whatever, which is helping, I hope. So yeah. Okay, do we have any more questions?
No, I think that's it. Uh, to wrap it all up, you know, um, I'm gonna say some final thoughts on it. Hey, love yourself before you can love everybody else. I've been saying that the whole episode. Just try your best to not put yourself down. It's something that I suffer from. I put myself down a lot. But I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to get better at that. And I would encourage people, don't put yourself down. Rise up to the occasion. Try to find something that takes your mind off the negative thoughts. Look at the good things in life and love yourself.
Amen. It's like prayer and shit. Thank you, Dee. That was beautiful. You guys, if you feel like you want to reach out or you want advice or whatever, la la la, or as I mentioned, you're looking for some ways of therapy, just hit us up on Instagram and subscribe for our Daily Dick channel on YouTube, RSS, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. We'll keep you posted. We love you. Love yourself. That's the key. And I think that's a wrap.
That.
Yay. Shit. Okay. Thanks, guys. We talked for like 2 hours. Man.
Yeah, it was like, it's gonna be 45 minutes. No, it was like,
You said that. You said that.
I did. It was a good subject, you know.
Thank you all guys for sharing that, even though you had questions or you were kind of rude or controversial about it. Like, it's still cool. Like, we all share experiences, and sometimes it's awesome. Do you look like you're gonna die now?
I'm good.
Live up. It's just another lockdown. It's nothing, it's fancy, you do, see, you dress up, put on makeup, do the same thing. It helps me.
I'm gonna just play video games.
Like, PlayStation is also good. I just don't have PlayStation in my house, so I'm sorry.
After I touched the flower, I got happy. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm speaking my truth here, man.
Yeah, you don't have PlayStation in your house. Okay.
I pour some wine and drink some water.